up, you blundering fools. It's time for the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast. Get all the toy talk your eagle heart could desire from these nincompoops. Jason and Elgin.
Yo, toys! And welcome to the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast, where friends get together to talk about one of our shared loves,
buttered noodles,
and toy collecting. We're here to celebrate how these little colorful pieces of plastic can transform you into a little kid again. Buttery, delicious. I just had noodles yesterday that was so buttery and good.
Something comforting about it.
Yes. Well, if this is your first time listening to or watching us live on YouTube every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, we don't just talk about noodles. We also talk about toys. That's right. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you giving us some of your time. But you're going to learn real quick. We are experts about noodles, and we are not experts about toys. And that's all right. We're going to get things wrong. We're all friends here. Everything's going to be fine.
Exactly. But before we jump into today's episode, we've got something exciting to tell you about. That's our Patreon and YouTube community, The Core. When you list in The Core, that's the Cracktastic organization of retro plastic specialists. You unlock a treasure trove of exclusive perks made just for hardcore collectors like you. You get bonus episodes, shoutouts, early access plus, an exclusive chat with us and the other Core members. So don't wait. Enlist in The Core today. Just go to enlistinthecore.com to help support the show.
In this episode, we're diving deep into the world of concept art. Those early sketches, renderings, and designs that bring our familiar toys to life before they even hit the shelves. We'll talk about how concept art shapes a toy's final look, the unsung artists behind the designs, and some incredible examples of figures that change drastically from concept to production. Plus, we'll share some of our favorite concept art pieces and speculate wildly about what could have been if some of those early designs made it into our toy boxes. So grab your pencils and your prototypes and let's get conceptual. And then later today and this episode, Elgin's going to take us on a tour of a toy store. And that's going to be super, super fun. You can follow us on all the social media platforms, including Patreon. That's right. Get your butts over there. And those links can all be found on our very own website. We saved our pennies. We took those pop cans in and we got ourselves one of those shiny new websites. It's pretty happy, pretty exciting thing to have. I feel like we finally made it.
Did.
So
made it. Time to retire.
If you haven't checked out the website, cracktasticplastic.com.
Yes. Do it.
And while you're surfing the interwebs, be sure to stop by our sponsor, toyhacks.com, for all your Repro label needs. They have an armory there where you can get some toy-accurate 3D printed weaponry and tons of amazing sticker sets for your toys. I just got a new envelope of stickers today. So excited. We also have a monthly contest that Elgin's going to tell you all about.
That's right. Every month we post something to our social media pages for you guys to comment and win a $5 coupon to Toy Hacks. Just make sure you comment, and then we have to make sure that we pick you every month. That's the hardest part.
It really is. It's so hard.
Yeah. And sifting through all the comments, that's also very hard as well, too. But comment to win $5 to toyhacks.com.
Also want to tell you about Cracktastic Plastic Con. That's coming up soon, Saturday, June 21st at the Bridgeview Center here in Ottumwa, Iowa.
Yeah.
It's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's free for the entire family, except Uncle Steve. He's got to pay. But everyone else, it's free. It's 10 to 4, Saturday, June 21st, the Bridgeview Center. It's a toy show we put on a couple times a year. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about it, Elgin?
Finding those kind of rare toys that I didn't think I needed, but had to get. And sometimes, it's, you find something, for example, pull this off the shelf here, maybe.
Rip. Oh, no.
Last time we had Cracktastic Plastic over in the National Armory, Guard Armory, area, I found the 25th anniversary He-Man that they had on card. I think Jake had this in his booth, but the basically they redid it in 2000. Before they rebooted the show, they did the anniversary editions of these. These are limited edition for the adult collector.
Yeah,
Not for you
it's
kids
not
out
new
there.
for 21 or 2 or 3 or 4 or nothing. That's
This is from 2000, and then they even had a cross sell on the back, and
oh
even
man,
original artwork and everything. But yeah, I
You
saw that on
suck.
there. It's like it's literally the mold from the 82.
So mad at you for just sneaking that one.
Yeah, I like he was still setting up, and I walked over. I was like, I'll take that.
Yep.
And then run back to our table. But
No
yeah,
take backsies. Mine
exactly. Yep, it's mine. He actually said, "Well, I knew you were gonna come and get that."
now. Oh yeah.
I was like, "You know me too well, Jake."
So Cracktastic Plastic on Saturday, June 21st here in Ottumwa, Southeast Iowa. If you're anywhere near, come on down. It's free.
Come on, exactly.
But right now, let's talk about what toys we've picked up lately in a segment we call Thrill of the Hunt.
Listen up, you fools! If anyone knows more about searching for the most unique items in the world, it's me, Cobra Commander. In my reign as Cobra's leader, I have acquired countless items, but those meddling Joes have foiled my attempt at worldwide domination over and over again. But it's the thrill of the hunt that fuels my superb rule of Cobra. Pay attention to my loyal subordinates as they tell you of their latest exploits and acquisitions. It's the thrill of the hunt, Cobra!
Ah, yes. Mighty Cobra. Hey, Elgin, what have you picked up?
All hail Cobra. Well, I've been kind of on a Rambo Forces of Freedom
A little bit.
kick here, and that's what happens, when you can't buy other toys. Yeah. So I picked up a couple more, and they both arrived the same day. I ordered them on different days, but they all came on the same day. Thankfully, before I left for the weekend, so they weren't just sitting outside, which would have been awful. But I picked up the Sergeant Havoc, and here he is with his bazooka. He's got an AK-47.
Yes.
He's got a machete in his belt, some binoculars. Whoops, and the little action feature of the missile.
Kaboom!
So it has a little string attached, so you can. There's a spring inside the little rocket launcher, so you can shoot
sweet.
it at the camera.
That's cool. And not lose it.
And I never lose it. Yeah, so it just keeps coming back.
Smart.
And he has a little, he has a little pistol in his belt there, like the cover. You just pop that open. Yeah, maybe. And he has a little pistol in there. Cover that up. But yeah, he is complete.
But only 3 guns? Are you sure that's complete?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, he has a lot. He has this gun, a pistol. He has AK, pistol, a machete, binoculars, and this rocket launcher.
Good
for
Lord.
all of his accessories. But yeah, and this one looks more like, I think we kind of said in the chat. He's supposed to be kind of based off that Sergeant Yushin from Rambo 2. That tortures Rambo when they're trying to get him to give up his location and stuff.
Yeah, you sold it with the side by side that you did.
Yeah, since Turnup was saying that it was like Timo John Rambo. That's what he say, Tom Rambo or something. I don't know what he said.
Yeah, right.
Something like. I was like, it doesn't really. I mean, but he's part of the Savage group. That's an acronym that stands for something. It's like sabotage and violence and gore. I don't remember. Look it up. That's what Google's for. But he does have his little sergeant thing on his arm there too. But
yeah,
Sergeant Havoc.
Sergeant Havoc.
Yep, in the 7-inch scale figures. But yeah.
The chat's buzzing before you move on there. We got brand new core member Chris DeMonico says, glad to catch this live. Love the show. We got Just Tiffany channel member. She says, I 100% would lose that bazooka missile otherwise.
Yeah, if it wasn't on a string, it would be gone.
And then Chris says, that Rambo guy with the claw and the Uzis was sick. I'm jealous. I had a friend that had it back in the day, but didn't know how many Uzis he came with.
He comes with 5 Uzis.
That's so crazy.
4 of them in the little shield thing. And that's Gripper.
Gripper.
That guy that's his name. The robot hand guy. But yeah, so continuing on with Forces of Freedom, now we have our General. We have General Havoc coming in here with this kind of all purple suit. Yeah, he's very serious with his aviator shades with the silver on them and stuff. Very kind of I don't know, Boomhauer, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit.
Down, Rambo gonna get down. I'm gonna down. I'm gonna shoot that down. But yeah, and so he comes with a little pistol on the side here. There, you kind of see that there. Comes with another AK-47. This is a different type of AK-47. At least the butt of it is slightly different than that other one from Sergeant Havoc.
But what the hell is that other thing?
So this thing in his hand it's a sword.
Sure.
It's like a ceremonial looking sword, but it's also an action feature. So I'll take it out of his hand. So it has a little string on it as well, and you pull it back, and you can fire his sword at you. And that hilt, there's the sword on the hilt there, and then there's a string inside. Just pull the string through.
Oh, so brilliant.
And then it launches his sword. I don't know why it launches his sword. That doesn't make any sense, but
because you can.
Yeah. But it's got some good design on it as well too. Right there.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Little skull crossbones.
Yeah. He also does come with another weapon. He also comes with this gun. With this machine gun, almost like a Tommy gun style thing there. But he also comes with that. He can't hold it if he's holding all his other weapons, but he does come with it. So he's also complete, 100% complete.
So you can't store it. That green piece goes all the way through.
Yeah, it clips in through the other side, so you would be able to clip it in like an actual clip.
Jeez.
The
accessories.
But yeah, he looks, very Boomhauer like, I guess.
Crazy. We got I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast in the chat saying pew pew.
Well, the AK makes a very specific sound as well too.
Yeah, pew pew.
Yeah, if you if you watch the Clint Eastwood movie Heartbreak Ridge, he ably displays that to the new recruits to teach them what an AK-47 sounds like in the time of war.
Heartbreak Ridge, kids.
Yeah,
check it out.
Did you know I also collect Masters of the Universe toys and not only just Rambo toys?
I thought it was just Rambo.
That's what I thought too, until I started opening other Masters of the Universe toys that I had in my totes that I needed to do for Motu Monday, which you can check all those out on our playlist, also called Motu Monday.
Oh, convenient.
So one of them in the last week or so was part of the Revolution. I'm getting now Revolution figures. So we had Revelation as the season 1 and Revolution as season 2. And so now I'm kind of getting into the Revolution figures that I have stockpiled as well. And one of them is King Keldor. There he is there. Of course, Keldor being the brother of King Randor and the true heir of Eternia. It shows him there. He's got a soft goods purple cape, of course, and some fur around the collar, and kind of soft goods plastic around for his wardrobe. It's kind of a reddish, brownish, some gold accents as well. And he's got the classic purple coloring because, we know Keldor becomes Skeletor later on in this variation of it. Yeah, he gets burned with acid, and Hordak has to save him by using magic to turn his face into a fully skull feature. However, in this series, the story of it is that this is actually just Skeletor in disguise as Keldor. Motherboard has disguised him so that he can infiltrate. Because King Randor passes away, He-Man becomes the new heir. he doesn't want to be the king. Oh, and someone, an old family, the old Uncle Keldor just happens to show up and take the crown, and He-Man's like, "Oh, you should be king," and da da da. So they even gave him a little crown that's removable, as well. And of course, William Shatner voices
Oh,
Keldor,
shit.
which is awesome. Works out great for this kind of smarmy character.
Perfect.
That is Keldor. So he doesn't really come with any accessories other than the crown, I guess, if you want to call that an accessory. But just a good figure to add to the collection, and it's an exact replica of what you see on screen as well.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
and then continuing on with, so that's part of the Revolution line, the main line. Then of course they have sublines as well within Masterverse. They have Princess of Power, they have New Eternia, and these next two figures are part of that New Eternia line. New Eternia is kind of like a reimagining of figures and an alternate dimension almost. Like they get sent to New Eternia, this other Eternia that's slightly different, according from all the box story, the back of the box story that you have.
It's really
The
just a
lore
chance
that-
for him to go a little wacky.
Yeah, and to kind of make them
Explore a little
more, to make them look a little bit more like what, like the vintage figures would look like, the aesthetic of that. So we have Trapjaw here, and he looks
Oh,
very much like
so good.
trapped on his mouth does open, very much like almost Filmation and what the figure looked like. And
I
guess
love
what?
they put the hole up on top.
He has
and the
the
eyes.
whole hole with the string on top, but he does have eyebrows. You can kind of see, which he had in the cartoon. He had as a figure, as a vintage figure. Of course, Origins left out those eyebrows, so I painted them on with like a little thin marker to give him his eyebrows. But he does have the one thing that kind of shows that he's really not Filmation is that this isn't like bright pink. So if it was the cartoon version of it, this would all be pink. This arm, this mechanical arm. Instead, they're making it more like the vintage figure looking, and even the coloration of it with the black and the purple and everything is very much
looks so good.
Bright blue it's very much like a vintage figure. There's not a ton of articulation, which I don't know if that was a mistake or not when they made this, because he can't bend his elbow any more than that.
Whoa, that was it?
Yeah. See this little spot here?
Uh-huh.
It's like it's blocked off. Like you can't move it any further. Like it should be open, but I think maybe the ball joint would fall out if it did.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's one small gripe, I guess. But you can remove pieces from his mechanical arm. You can take off that hook, pop that out, and have the hook come out. And if you wanted to put, he did come with this other, does it articulate? Oh yeah, a little bit. This other piece, kind of like that Mouser piece.
Mm-hmm.
Another trap jaw that can be inserted in the.
That metallic paint is gorgeous.
Yeah.
It looks so
especially
good.
on his belt too, that kind of bronze look to it.
Weathered.
Yeah.
Dang.
And even the little on his thighs there, that metallic, and the accents on his arms and everything. And then the sword can fit in there as well by just having holding it. And it wouldn't be Trapjaw without being able to attach all the stuff to his belt.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of part of being Trapjaw, is the attachment to his belt.
Heck yeah.
We already had a Trapjaw in the Revelation, what he looked like on the show, but this is really what he should look like. I mean, to me, this is what Trapjaw looks like.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of what he should look like. As a purist, I don't know if you want. Yeah. And then I have the final figure for the New Eternia line that I have is they did another Man-at-Arms. So now we have Revelation Man-at-Arms, and then we have, so they did like him as Man-at-Arms, then him as like an outcast, as like hobo Man-at-Arms, I guess. And then they did a Man of War, and then they're doing this New Eternia one. So this is what he looks like here with his mustache. It's kind of a French mustache, I guess. But his helmet does come off, which I thought was interesting. You can pop that off,
Oh yeah.
and you can see his head, I guess. Which you've never really been able to do like this type of
Right.
thing with that helmet. It's always been secured on there. But he does kind of the classic orange and green armor, the green kind of bodysuit, I guess, that he's wearing.
Right, because
With the
he's not
he's not naked.
green
He's
skin.
wearing like a leotard or something. I don't know.
Yep.
But he's got the shin guard, and then the left shin guard and left arm guard, full arm guard and shoulder, and even the front piece for his
Yep. Very vintage
face.
inspired.
And you can stick his weapon in the back there, as well as mace, which he does come with. He also comes with an alternate head, and that what they did was they modeled it kind of like the vintage figure, because if you remember, the vintage figure doesn't have a mustache.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't until Origins that they put that mustache on him. So they did give him this head as well.
Oh, cool.
It's almost like he could be like young Duncan,
Mm-hmm.
and then put the mustache, and then older Duncan. And they did give him his mace, very classic
Very cool.
looking mace, and with a little upgrade, you can pop off this top part. Oh,
Good.
it's tough, I know. So there's that, and they give you this other piece. I'll pop on here. That the ball extends out on a chain.
Badass.
It's kind of a soft plastic, or a lollipop. But yeah, so that was I think in 2000X they did something like that where it would like chain out, and then you could spin it like a
That's
mace
neat.
type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of an extra little feature that they did. And you can like say stick this on his back if you wanted to. But yeah, so you can have two options. I'd probably keep him with the mustached face just because.
But I love that vintage
that better.
inspiration and then amping it up.
Yeah.
For the
It's a very cool looking figure. I mean, very much vintage, like, and that's the thing with these new Eternia. I almost like this subline better than the normal line. It's like
you got the
they
30
just kinda-
points of articulation and
Yeah.
the 7-inch, and it's so
yeah.
you can do so much more.
See, they're about the
Well,
same size.
all right. They'll fight together.
Yeah, they'll fight Savage. But yeah, they look great, and yeah, even I mean, in person they look great, even with the paint on the back there, that gold paint
Sure.
on the back, and just the how nice the boots look and everything too. It's just just a well done figure. This new Eternia
Sure.
So, and that pops, and this helmet pops off too on this head. Why you'd want to?
I like that, old
but that's a
army
different helmet.
bomber helmet,
Yeah.
padded helmet looking thing. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean that's the vintage style helmet, and this is kind of the new, smaller helmet.
Yeah.
It is. There's some differences there
Sure.
with it. Yeah.
So cool.
Anyway, that's what I have.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I got some things. We got, Tiffany and I was shopping around today, just goofing around, killing some time. We both had the day off. So
Cool.
Went to that place called Five Below.
Sweet.
And I just furthered my collection of Tiffany's. So I got me another little Tiffany here.
Cool.
Another one. Yep. This one, it's that angry face, pretty similar, This one's hair is a little lighter, but anyway. That's just fun. I mean, I might as well. I got, the Ultimate Edition over here, so might as well have a little. Oh, she says she was born blonde. Oh, Chris has a good question too. How many Uzis did Man at Arms come with? That's the real question.
Not enough.
Not enough. So
He should have. He really should have had an Uzi.
Yeah, right.
I mean, why not? Why not?
You can see this in the Unbox With Me videos. I got Air Raid, one of the aerial bots. He's the cool black jet of the aerial bots, and he was really fun and cool, and happy to show him off. You can see all of these in my Unbox With Me, whatever they call it, playlist. That's the word. That's a word. Yep. So stoked for the aerial bot for Superion. One of my favorite combiners. The new line is called Age of the Primes. Age of the Primes. And we're learning about the 13. And I got to unbox yet another one. And her name is Solus Prime.
Solus Prime.
And she's pretty kick-ass. She's got a wicked hammer. And she does a lot of the forging and makes a lot of the weapons. And this color scheme's badass too. This purple with those hints of yellow and gold. And pretty cool. Pretty cool. Solus Prime.
Well, I could only find one Uzi for Man-at-Arms.
Let me get you big here. Oh, yes. Look at that.
Anyway.
And then lastly for me, just unboxed him the other day. It's only my 5th version of this guy. This is and my second G2 version, but this is Grimlock, G2 Grimlock. In the G2 line, they released 3 of the Dinobots with alternate colors. Obviously, Grimlock was done in this blue.
That's crazy seeing him in that color.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird.
He was also like a light teal blue, but I don't know if they're going to do that. They said they're going to do all 5 of the Dinobots in alt colors, like a G2 colors. So I'm like, oh, great. But also awesome, but great. I gotta buy them all again. Neat little thing about this is the original Grimlock came with this wheelie figure, and it's one of the worst figures ever made, ever. It does nothing but sit in the sit position. And he has the slingshot, which is cool and neat in his hands. But yeah, his arms and hands don't move. I mean, they move, but they're just the elbow. There's no elbows or knees.
Gotcha.
So all he can do is sit. I think I posed them once on my Ghostbusters toilet.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But anyway, so since they put him out again in this new color, they at least upgraded him and put him in this color scheme. I can't remember exactly if he's called, just the wild. It was from the comics. Like he and Grimlock went on adventures in the jungle and the wild. And so it's like Wild Boy.
Wild Boy.
I don't know. I'm just glad they repainted him and did him a little different. I think they put a different head on there too. So even though it's worthless and pointless, stupid little toy, but and so because his legs are like this, when he's in dinosaur mode, he can just ride on the back of his neck too, which is dumb, but also cool. G2 Grimlock, one more to go. Oh, all right. Oh, so concept art. What a cool thing. The thing about this topic to me is like, there's no way we're just going to barely scratch the surface of this. Every toy that's ever made has been drawn first.
Right. That's
every toy that has not been made has been drawn first. You know, it's like that's how toys start, as it should. It's in somebody's brain. That's the next step. Let's put it on paper.
Well, even in filmmaking, you want to draw out. I've seen
storyboards.
Plenty of storyboards of like shot for shot. This is what the shot's going to look like. Maybe a post-it note of like a stick figure, but this is I've seen giant boards of stuff like this is shot for shot for shot for shot. Of each picture. But yeah, with figures, you would ask an artist, "Hey, we have this idea. Can you draw me something?" And then they take their inspiration from whatever it is, and
then you shut them down 7-8 times or 500
and
times.
They say, "Here, this is my awesome thing," and they're like, "Well, can you change one thing?" And then they're like, "Sure." And then after the 13th time, they're like, "I quit."
Yep. Yeah, I hate drawing now.
I am done drawing forever. I'm getting a different career.
Probably more than it should have happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like this also came up because I assume today we'll talk about toys that are some sketches and stuff, or where things came from that did get made, some that didn't. I know I've got a few examples of things that were concept art turned into a toy that wasn't even part of the thing that it was for.
Yeah, I think all my stuff were ones that were eventually turned into toys. Maybe 40
That's
years
cool.
later, but it's they
Same.
got
One
there.
of mine's a 40-year later toy too. So you want to
Yeah.
just get into showing?
Sure.
I made a little slideshow here of some of the stuff. Here's what we got on the left. It looks like Modi.
Yeah, so when the original Eternia playset came out in 1987, they had within the little moat of the playset, they had this molded creature in there as a relief, which is just the raised artwork, to make it look like a figure in there. And so that was just part of the moat. You could fill the tray with water and actually have a moat, just the same as the new one they put out. You can fill it with water if you want to. So when they were re-releasing or remaking for the Origins line, the Eternia playset, they're like, they would looked at the old stuff and they said, well, can we make Eternia better, the Eternia playset better? And they're like taking inspiration from the playset themselves, the actual artwork, and say, hey, can we take this little piece of artwork that's molded into the playset and can we make that a character? And they're like, yes, we can.
Such a little thing.
And to have something that just that little bit of
just a bump
inspiration,
on a piece of plastic.
Exactly. And to come out with this figure of Modi, as he's now affectionately called, that was able to be part of the set as I think one of the tiers.
Nope. Did that wrong? Nope. We'll just go back to that.
Yeah, that's fine. With an articulated jaw and articulation, kind of, a little bit of articulation, but he's the guy that's crawling out of there, and he's what you could get as part of Eternia playset. Some articulation and a giant jaw that's like with his underbite as well.
He needs to see a dentist.
Yeah, get some braces, get a retainer. But yeah, that was part of one of the tiers. I think one of the first tiers. I think maybe King Grayskull was the first tier, but this was part of the maybe second tier. You could get Modi, the moat monster, as part of the Eternia playset, the Origins Eternia playset.
So
he just kind of sits under the bridge right now on the like a troll hiding there on my playset. So on the other side there is is the mini comic from King Hiss's mini comic. And what I've circled there, kind of in blue, is one little tiny figure. And that figure, that's the only appearance he makes in that comic book. Is just that kind of in passing. Like they just drew a figure back there, never really talked about it. And just like he was fighting with the rest of the Snake Men. And they're like, oh, there he is. So then 40 years later, they're like, hey, you remember that one panel that we drew in this comic book? Let's make that into a full-fledged character in Mattel Creations. And that's what they did. They made Reptilax as an actual character. There's him with his tail. You can kind of move around. But yeah, they just made him into an entire character. And he's just there like with a sword fighting in one panel. And they're like, okay, we need to make him a character. Which is cool. But it's never something I would have expected that they would do. Is like just make an entire character from a comic book, a one panel mini comic. That's insane.
That's nuts. Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, it does. They did a great job with it, but it's just such an odd thing to have.
All right, let's next slide. Ooh.
So this picture is the picture of the sticker that you would have in Castle Grayskull, in the original Castle Grayskull vintage playset. So I've also circled that in kind of a blue. this little hand reaching out from the dungeon gate there, and you can kind of see a little eyeball poking out too. So they took inspiration from this sticker artwork and created a new character called Frog Monger. And now we have an entire frog character with a little jetpack on him as well. With even frog feet
Wow.
and frog hands, three fingers. He has like a little ray gun too. I didn't get to dig that out, but he has. Yeah, we have a giant frog character just from that little snippet of artwork that they just kind of probably drew offhandedly, and they're like, "Hey, let's make a frog."
Right. Do you look at the rest of that sticker now?
I know it's like you could easily. I know they did
There's
the
that bat looking thing.
the little tentacle thing. They did
Mhm.
make that for San Diego Comic-Con one year. Like I missed out on getting it. So you can attach it into the bottom plate of the Origins Castle Grayskull, and it
Oh,
fits in there. They made a grate and everything where you can like it pops out.
there's insect legs.
But yeah, there's
Oh,
tons of
my.
other figures they could make. They could easily make if they wanted to, not just Froggy here.
That's so cool, though.
But yeah, it looks cool.
I'm glad they did the fingers the same.
Yeah, I know. I think that's these fingers are kind of taken from Tongue Lasher. He has similar fingers like that, which is always frustrating to have like to hold anything. They did kind of mold it so you can actually hold something there.
Good.
But the vintage one, it was almost impossible to like have him hold anything with those three fingers like that. But yeah, Frog Monger was a Mattel Creations exclusive figure.
All right. Next slide.
Just fell off the table. So the figure on the left there, that's a red Beast Man. So Mark Taylor was tasked to do a bunch of drawings for Master Universe to when they first were creating their figures, and this was one of them that he did of Beast Man, that they were going to originally call the Lords of Power, but that was too religious sounding, and so they switched to Masters of the Universe instead. But this Beastman character, the way he looks is similar to what kind of what he would kind of look like later on, but they tweaked it a little bit more. But they ended up putting out a Lords of Power version of that Beastman, that red Beastman. And that's what he looks like there. They even have the spikes on the top, although they are yellow instead of red in that figure. But his belt is similar. That red, bright red fur, kind of Elmo fur, I guess.
Monstrous head.
But yeah, giant head. He's got a balding head, I guess too. But yeah, similar in the shoulder pads and the coloring and kind of that front belt piece of the Lords of Power Beast Man.
What a great version.
Putting out. But yeah, if they would have made this all red, then that probably would have been a little closer to that. But once again, we have this figure now that's a drawing is now, pretty similar to what I have in my hand right now. So it's very cool.
Lords of Power Beastman.
Yes. And then the figure on the right is another Mark Taylor creation where they asked him to make a bad guy, a villain, something who would then eventually become Skeletor. But originally he was called Demo Man or Demon Man, if you want to think of it like that. But it was Demo Man. And this one probably looks the closest to what the figure looking as like what the picture is, like down to his weapons and the look of him at all. So they put this one out also with Mattel Creations exclusively, and they put him out.
Oh yeah,
head sculpt, the sword, the mace ball, the coloring, just that demon like
wicked.
But yeah, it's very similar to what he drew 40 plus years ago, dropping his mace. But yeah, side by side of that drawing to have something that's like ripped from the pages almost. As close as it can be, probably. It's pretty awesome. Like I said, he would then be tweaked and moved around and turned into Skeletor, what we have now. But that original look of him, of Demo Man,
bone and beard and all.
Too demonic for Mattel, I think, at the time.
And
so they're like, we have to scale that back, get rid of the religious overtones of all that stuff.
All right, and your last slide here.
Yep, last figures. So these 3 figures are kind of early versions of like He-Man. So Mark Taylor designed a kind of a barbarian, and then they were then given to another artist, which this escapes my mind right now, but he then tweaked that character a little bit more, kind of giving him the cross on his chest with that center figure, of that barbarian figure. But then also like maybe kind of a Stratos-esque figure with the wings, and kind of this tank figure, almost like a Man-at-Arms style figure. Mattel Creations would eventually put out a kind of a, you would think kind of think it as a 3-pack, but it's really 1 pack with 2 extra pieces, with 2 extra outfits, So they end up calling him Vicor. So the middle barbarian one is now becomes this with the fur around and the pointed helmet and the
they minimized that. That's good. The pointy top.
Yeah,
it looked way more phallic.
Yeah. But they did give him the cross on his chest there, and the double-sided axe, the battle axe, the fur around his collar there, kind of a pelt almost, and kind of shin guards as well, but very similar to that kind of prototype figure that was created. So you would get this figure, and then
he was called what again?
Vicor. Yeah. So you would have this figure, and then you had 2 other pieces. So I just grabbed a couple other He-Man figures and put that outfits on them. Okay. So I grabbed a regular He-Man to put the tank stuff on, tank gear. And so we have this tank head, almost like a falcon head, with this little battering ram gun thing. So you get all these armor pieces and the weapons and the helmet, the shin guards. All that is part of this Vicor figure. So if you wanted to swap out each one, or you buy 3 figures.
Right. So this is why you buy the extra ones on clearance, right? So
exactly. Yeah.
And that looks cool, but it's kind of got that like a bird-like front too.
Yeah, and that opens up.
That's neat.
And stuff, and
tying that in.
Top of there. But yeah, that's the tank kind of version of what you see on the left there. That figure, and then of course you get the kind of spaceman Stratos-esque figure. And I just put this on another He-Man with the space helmet and the wings on the back.
Sure.
These are translucent wings as well. You get a little ray gun as well. Some different arm gauntlets.
No red shin guards, but
no guards on this one on the actual figure, but they gave him the whole pack and the helmet and everything. The helmet is like a head sculpt. Like it's not like a helmet that goes on, it's all one head. But yeah, so they made that into kind of less Boba Fett.
I was going to say Mandalorian vibes going on that helmet.
More spaceman.
Had to change that, I'm sure.
It's kind of Stratos-y colors to him as well. Maybe kind of Zodak-esque as well. But yeah, so basically you get those 3 figures now. If you wanted to put the armor and everything on different figures, if you have extra figures, you can do that, or just buy 3 Vicors and when they go on clearance. But yeah, it's amazing that we get all these figures now from that artwork, and
totally.
And to see them, off, not just in a book, but like in your hand now.
Yeah. Well, mine that I wanted to talk about is a little different. I don't have it yet.
Okay.
So 40, well, so in 1986, there's this little movie called Transformers. The Transformers, the movie. It was pretty good.
It's all right, I guess.
And in this movie, there's this character named RC, and it was a female Transformer.
Yes.
Kind of the first time we saw female Transformers. And sadly, notoriously, Transformers, the people who ran the Transformers brand back in the day did not want to make any female Transformers because females didn't buy toys or Transformers.
Yeah. Was Todd McFarlane working for him or what?
Hey, come on. I meant to also go to this
Zing.
comment in the chat before we moved on. It's core member. Channel Demonica says, I love the early Masters artwork. Very Jack Kirby inspired. I didn't know that they made these figures. I love the Spaceman armor in Castle Grayskull too. Yeah.
Yeah, they ended up doing the astronaut armor as a full figure as part of that SDCC pack with the little tentacle things.
And so when they were making toys, and then the movie was notorious for killing all the old characters because we're introducing new toys.
Exactly.
Who cares about kids loving these characters? Screw it. Kill them all. We're bringing in a new wave of toys to sell you.
Yep.
And so that's what the movie was, a big change of the guard, and it was painful. But also eventually it was cool because we got a lot of new toys, a lot more space vehicle, because it takes place off Earth now. And so when the movie came out, they were making new toys for this. Hot Rod was the new hot toy, all sorts of really cool things. And they drew up an RC. They made concept art for RC in a toy. But like I said, it didn't make it to production because we sucked back then. I wasn't there. Well, I mean, I was there.
Using the universal we.
Yeah. So, and then I know you've heard me ramble on about the Missing Link toy line lately because they're taking these G1 toys literally and giving them articulation that we never had because they're very brick-like back then.
Definitely.
So we're getting the same toy, but with articulation. And what an amazing, it's the perfect opportunity to take this RC toy that never made it and not only make it, but then do it in this Missing Link version. That's very exciting. So so on the left half is the original concept art of RC, the left half. And so on the right half is just a comparison of Hot Rod and the new RC standing next to him. And I think they did a pretty gosh darn good job, not only with like the weird proportions of her like thighs and stuff, but just her shapes in general. They nailed it, man. It's so freaking close, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to make a curvy robot, I guess.
It is.
That also would transform into an angular vehicle. It's like
and all the RC toys over the years have struggled with trying to make her.
Did they you just use motorcycles most times?
They made her motorcycle for a bunch of toys. But otherwise it just becomes like this shell.
Yes.
And then her robot parts underneath because they're like, how do you hide all this? Anyway, I think the next, so this is and so on the left, you got that pink and orange because I'll go back. That's the concept art.
Right.
Is that pink and orange? It's like, what? That's not, obviously this was made before the movie was done. But here you can see on the left, the original concept art colors, but then are also releasing her in her actual movie colors too on the right.
Yeah.
So in that pink and white, so you can see it's, I don't know, it's just like fulfilling this 40-year mistake
Sure.
and doing it to as well as you could.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, definitely.
freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, the pink and white, that really hits. Like that's like you see that and it's like that's instant nostalgia.
Classic RC there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that pink face and white.
Yeah.
I know, Jimmy. Look at those hips. They do not lie. They do not. Okay, and then I just pulled up a couple. There's like message boards with just
Oh, sure.
for days. There's just so much. You know, Transformers never stopped ever, and it's been constant from cartoons to movies. God knows. Here's just a couple from movies. The Michael Bay movies. Like on the left here, there's a Quintessa skulk toy. They like made the quintessence into a female type of lady killer in the Last Night movie.
Yeah, like a
Like that's neat, right? With the little tentacles and into this. Or here on the right, there's a is as if an Autobot was an old classic car. You can kind of see like old parts, even like weird old guns. Just from Revenge of the Fallen, something that was never made. But it is endless. I did bring a whole
book of it.
I'll do this one. I did bring a few. So the Bumblebee movie was an awesome movie. You need to watch, Elgin. And
yeah, well, we need to make it an episode, I think.
In the beginning of the Bumblebee movie, which really is a good movie, they do like a 5-minute scene on Cybertron with the Cybertronian vehicles and characters. This fight battle scene. It's just like I can't say robot porn. I can't say that, but like transform. Just forget I said any of that. But in that scene, it's just so much of like characters, and it's like, and they're just fighting, and it's just like, oh my god, this is so great. And then, anyway, and so they concept arted a bunch of stuff for this opening scene of the Bumblebee movie.
Gotcha.
They've released every gosh dang toy that's been in there, even if it's for 3 frames or not. Every one of them freaking toys and characters in that opening scene has been put out in a toy form.
Wow.
But there were a few that were drawn up that never made it into that scene.
Sure.
I got a couple here, Rumble and Frenzy. Just a couple guys. They really just turn into squares, cubes.
Oh, yeah.
that would fit into the sound wave that came out, and there was a sound wave released from the Bumblebee movie, which is cool and all, but these never made it into the film. They were art, but they're like, you know what, we're making bank on these Bumblebee intro movie toys, so let's try to stick these in there too.
Yeah, wow.
And they did. They look good, Rumble Frenzy. And then also this guy here, which is awesome because it's one of my favorite characters. Again, they drew him up, never made it to the final film, but they're like, let's make a toy out of him anyway. We got Sunstreaker.
Oh, nice.
Which is neat. I love this little yellow guy, and they kept some things like his weird ears, those little yellow things on the sides there.
Yeah.
That's been a classic part of him since G1, and it's not a bad little space car. It's pretty awesome, but never made the movie, but we got a toy of him, so sweet. That's neat that he doesn't exist, but he didn't come. He came from somewhere that didn't yeah. And now it's in my hand. It's neat. I like that.
Definitely.
Oh, but there's so much stuff. Yeah. And that's just our 2 IPs that we love.
I know.
If you start looking into Star Wars stuff, it's like, forget about it.
Yeah. And like Ninja Turtles, I'm sure there's tons of crazy looking figures out there, even more than what they produced. But yeah, it's fun just to look at there, and even I'm sure there's coffee table books of like of all those stuff like that, and it's just interesting to look through that and see what could have been and what may be. You know?
Yeah. I should have pulled it out for the shelf there, but there was a yellow Grimlock. It was yellow with like tigery stripes on it. It was just from a coffee table book put out of concept art,
Sure.
and the designers were like, "That's cool. Let's make that. We got the mold. Let's just make it."
Yeah.
And they freaking did.
Get the spray paint out.
They've been doing that. It's I like the trend. It's really cool to see these come to fruition. That you've always such weird stuff. There's been a bunch of it lately, especially in that G2 era with the crazy colors. There's a jazz that's all bright orange and red.
Well, that's weird.
It's nuts. It's nuts. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I like it. I feel like I should follow it more. You know, really, I don't know, digging in and getting on these message boards and people fan art is nuts too of their own concepts. They're like, I'm tired of waiting for Hasbro to freaking do it. Let's make our own art.
3D print it.
Yeah.
Put it out there.
All right.
It's cool. It's all cool.
Yes, it is. And what else is cool is the PFPN.
Sure is.
We'll take a little break and tell you about the PFPN. That's the Prescribed Films Podcast Network. Lots of really fun, amazing podcasts over there that they're all friends of ours, and you should check it out. But this nice lady's going to tell you.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal: providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
Sorry if I got cut off there, man. I was like, I pushed the button. I'm like, why are you pushing? Keep saying the thing you got to say. Why are you pushing the button? It was, oh my gosh.
That's all right.
Anyway, the PFPN, like I said, tons of amazing shows like First Time Podcast. Have you heard of that? That's our pal, Tad Good. He, everyone's like, hey, have you seen that movie? And everyone's like, yeah, totally. And
they're
liars because you're afraid to admit you haven't seen something. It's a common thing. It's okay. But Tad's taken on the challenge of like, okay, but if you haven't seen it, that's okay. Come on, watch it. We'll talk about it together, and it's a great show. They just pick a movie, or it's not even just a movie. Sometimes, like he had me on once to talk about fantasy football. Like the first year I made him play fantasy football, we got on and talked about that. But so it's a really cool show of, getting over that fear of admitting you haven't done something while talking about cool stuff.
That, like, quote unquote, 90% of everyone has seen that.
I think yes.
In our minds, that's what we think.
Yeah. All right. Well, now it's time for Elgin. That's you.
That's me.
To take us on a store tour.
All right, today's store that we're going to is called the Gresham Toy Shop at 126 North Main Avenue in Gresham, Oregon. That's only a short 27 hours from Ottumwa if you drive west toward Oregon. But if you're already in the Oregon area, specifically Portland, Oregon, it's just 38 minutes east of Portland. They have a bunch of Thundercats, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Motu, and much, much more. And did you know that Gresham was once famously known as the raspberry capital of the world in the early 1900s? The city's fertile land and agricultural heritage established this reputation. Black raspberries were among the early fruits brought to Oregon. But you can also bring yourself to Oregon to the Gresham Toy Shop at 126 North Main Avenue in Gresham, Oregon.
Do it. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's get that beef jerky and slushy combo.
That sounds delicious. And some buttered noodles.
Yes.
All right, before we go today, I just want to remind everyone, if you enjoy the show and you'd like to help support it, that'd be awesome. We would let you. And one of the I guess we'll let you. No. But one of the easiest ways to do that's just tell a friend. That'd be great. Just be like, hey, check out this cool podcast.
Hey, friend.
And another way, 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. We love those. Elgin loves reading those to you every episode.
I'll read every 5-star review that you guys do.
Yes. And then, like he mentioned at the beginning of the ooh, that's real. That's legit.
Mm-hmm.
And like Elgin said at the beginning of the show, enlist in the Corps. Enlistinthecorps.com. That's our Patreon page. Tons of great perks like bonus episodes exclusive to Corps members only. Shout outs on the show. You get other things. Like you get to be in an exclusive chat with Elgin and I and the other Corps members. And early access to there's tons of stuff. Check it out. Or if you're more of a YouTube person, like we know you are because you're here watching it, if you're here on YouTube, join button down below, same perks, same prices, all that stuff. But it's all pretty cheap.
All true facts. No lies here.
That's right. Check it out. Fact check us if you gotta.
We dare you. And
like I said, one of those perks was shout outs on the show, and I'm gonna do that now. So let's celebrate our Corps members, Tony Miller, Chris Turnip Simmons, Alex LaForest, Bill Fisher, Colin Bunn, and our latest Corps member who's been chatting up in the chat, Chris DeMonico.
Hey,
thank you all so much.
You.
We really, really appreciate it. You guys rule. It's fun chatting with you in the exclusive chat. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, that's it, Elgin. That's what I know. I guess we're gonna.
Sad. This is like the saddest part.
I know we have to stop
the episode.
Yeah. Well, check back next week, same bad time,
exactly,
same bad channel, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. We'll see you next week. Until then, watch all them awesome videos. Keep being awesome.
Yes.
And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast. But not so fast, my foul fiends. Don't forget to follow these fools on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And visit cracktasticplastic.com. I'll be back.